All right. So if you have seen my earlier tutorials, I have gone through installing Composer. I mean, initialize Composer in your project, and also writing uh, the required statements to install your first dependency. If you haven't seen, then please watch my tutorial 1 and 2 in this series. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about requiring your dependencies for all the environments and few required dependencies on just for your development environment. So what I mean by that is, just for example, you are having some kind of payment dependencies. Let's say you are going to integrate Stripe. You would need that dependency on all of your environment. For example, you will need that while developing the website, and also you will need that on your live environment. But there are few of the packages, for example some packages of beautifying the errors, or some packages which are there to you know uh, compile your code and sanitize it, or some kind of testing packages. So you require those packages in your development environment only, and you would never require those on your live environment, because you would never do any kind of testing on live, I assume. uh, and also any kind of direct code optimization on live, you will always do that on local and then push that to live. So Composer is smart enough to separate those kind of dependencies. So if you open composer.json, so I'm inside my project root, I'm opening composer.json file, and you can see, apart from just the basic information, it has a require statement. And if you remember, in the last tutorial we require this uh, package dependency. Alright, and what 5.4 is the version of that dependency which was installed by this. Now I'm going to install a dependency for my development environment. So for that I can go back to packages.org. Let's just do any kind of I'm going to install PHP unit. Obviously it has a lot of dependencies, and Composer is going to install that for you, but I do not require this for my live environment. I want to install it only on my local environment. I mean, I want to segregate those two parts. One of the things which I can do is, I can say Composer require dev, and it will do everything for you. But then I want to go we have installed using a command. We have installed a dependency using command in the previous tutorial. I want to showcase you another way of doing it using composer.json file. So let just me open composer.json. I'm going to say require dev, I'm going to write the package name. It's php unit /php unit. Let's just to confirm, yeah, php unit /php unit. I'm going to install the latest dependencies. I'm going to say star. Now everything seems correct. Let's just save this, save and quit. And now, if you remember, in the previous tutorial we just wrote a command, composer require illuminate /support, and it installed everything for you. And also it updated automatically the autoload files and composer.json. Now we are doing it other way around. In this time we are changing the composer.json, but it's just a kind of reference file for Composer. So to install those dependency automatically, what you need to do is, you need to tell Composer to install those dependencies. So what it will do is, it will actually install those dependencies. Let's just see what happened in here. the log file isn't up to date. Okay, so I need to run composer update. Sorry, my bad, it's not actually composer install but composer update. So it's a good time to explain between a composer install and composer update. So whenever you change anything in the composer.json file, you are telling composer to actually update those kind of dependencies. And also, even if you do not have done any changes in the composer.json, there might be instances wherein the packages which you are using are actually updated in the packages.org. I mean, their repositories have been updated, they have some kind of bug fixes, or they have some kind of new features which you would like to incorporate in your project. So you can do composer update, and composer will make sure if any of the packages are getting updated, then composer will download those updates and install it in the vendor file. So obviously PHP unit is a really large library, so it has a lot of internal dependencies, package dependencies. It will take time depending on how large the files are and how is your internet connection. So just while this is getting installed, what I would like to do is I would like to go and go to the folder and open a file which actually is really important for composer. We are not actually using that file in any kind of reference, but it's called as composer.log file. Let me just open it. It's a kind of JSON file, but what it internally does is it keeps track of all the dependencies, all the version of it, all the internal dependency of your dependency. What I mean by that is Illuminate support package has internal dependency of Doctrine package, so it will make sure all these dependencies are there mentioned in this log file. All the versions are mentioned in here, all the sources. So whenever you download any kind of new update from here, it will make sure it download it from here, which is actually the package repository URL. Also there are different information like who is the author, etc., what is the version which is required currently, and how behind it is from the current update. So what are the licenses, so there is all the information. You would actually never do any kind of changes in the log file because composer automatically does for you. Now if you go back, the PHP unit is automatically installed, and if you go in here, your vendor folder, you would see all the dependencies are here ready to use. So that was one of the major difference. Now if you go back, if you go back, composer is really smart to as I said, segregate all the dependencies. So now you have Illuminate support package, which is your dependencies in all your environment, and PHP unit package, which is your development environment. So make sure whenever you're requiring anything, you segregate those requirements into your development requirement and your all environmental requirements. So you can segregate those packages, and it will make sure that the packages which are really not required on the live environment are never present there. So thanks for your time, and I'll catch you in the next lecture. Happy coding.